Alright, so finally we're going to do some sinusoidal models. This one is for daylight. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to walk you to 3 steps of doing these models. So for this example, according to the Old Farmer's Almanac, the number of hours of sunlight in Boston on the summer solstice, the longest daylight of the year, is 15:30 on June 20th, and the number of hours of sunlight on the winter solstice, the shortest daylight of the year, is 9.08 on December 21st. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do for the model is find 3 things: the amplitude, period, and vertical shift. So to find the amplitude, you would subtract the maximum from the minimum. And in this case, the maximum is 15.30 minus 9.08 divided by 2. And this equals 3.11. The period is just the length to repeat itself, and this is 365 days. And then finally, the vertical shift. This you do you basically do the opposite of the amplitude, and you add the maximum and the minimum instead of subtract it, and divide by 2. And this is 15.30 plus 9.08 divided by 2 equals 12.19. Alright, so now we got that. Next, we are going to find a sinusoidal function. And in this sinusoidal function is asking us to approximate the hours of daylight in Boston starting on the summer solstice. So what the function is the amplitude of the trigonometric function, the 2 pi over our period that we have times any variable, I'm using x, plus the vertical shift. And that's it. And then for the third and final question, we are going to graph. Everybody loves graphing, right? So this, we're going to use our period. I'm just going to set this. Actually, let's do our vertical shift first. So our vertical shift is 12.19. Hopefully you can see. It's just right there. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. I can't count. Anyways, our period for this is just our period is 365. And I'm gonna do 2 periods for later. Okay. So our maximum is 15.30. Our minimum is 9.08. And this one, since we have a cosine function, our cosine function starts from the top and it makes its way up. Sorry, our max, center, minimum, center, max, center, minimum, center, max. And then it'll end up looking like, if I can draw right, there we go. All right, so there's our graph, and this is our model. All right, so this is our final sinusoidal model. we are going to be using a table and a calculator. So once again, I don't have a calculator on me, but I know the steps and I've written them down, and I will show you it if you want to take a picture or just follow through as I explain them. Alright, so first steps, as usual, the amplitude, vertical shift, period, and etc., and then graphing and the regression equation before the graph. But in this case, we are talking about the Washington, D.C. temperatures per month. And as you see, the table here is given for the temperatures per month. So this is what we're going to put in our calculator. So on our calculator, I want you to hit Stat, Edit, and then plug in the table stuff on line 1 and line 2 all the way to 12 and 39.4, as you see right there. Once you do that, you're going to hit second, y equals, which is stat plot. Make sure your type is a scatter plot. Make sure you're on line 1 and line 2. Oh, you guys can't see, sorry about that. Make sure on line 1, make sure on line 2. Turn on the plot, and then you're going to hit zoom, 9, graph. Alright, so once you did that, you're not exactly finished yet. You're gonna complete your regression equation. And what you're gonna do for that is you're gonna hit stat calc, go to your sine regression, and then your period, if you're not sure what it is, just leave it blank for now because we want the exact specific details as possible. And then press calculate. Once you press calculate, you should get your A, B, C, and etc. Alright, so before you graph it, you're going to put in your equation, your regression equation. So your A is your 22.61 sine, your period is 0.503, variable, minus 2.04, and then your vertical shift, 57.2. Once you plug that in, you're gonna graph it. You're gonna hit graph, make sure it looks alright. Your final step is to graph it. Our maximum is 79.8, minimum is 34.59, and our middle line is 57.2, and these are the same distance in between each other. So we have our graph set up. Our period, we have already set it as 12, but you want to go as specific as possible. So what you need to do in your calculator is you just put 2 pi over 0.503. And we got this 0.503 from right there, from figuring out our period over there. And once I put that in, it's actually a little higher than what we originally had, which is 12.5, rounded up. So that's what we're going to use, because we can trust a calculator more than our human brains. And then after 12.5, for our second period, we'll just add it up to 25. And then finally, draw our graph. So our graph is just temperatures going from one month to the next month, which means we're going to start at the minimum, make our way up. And don't do it just like I did. Make sure you plot it first, and then attempt the drawing. Yeah. And that is our final graph for our final sinusoidal model with the table. Thank you for watching. I hope you do good on your future pre-calc assignments.